Welcome to the Car Guys and welcome to a long overdue garage update. Which of these cars are staying and which ones are going? So as you know, viewers, the Car Guys collection is a bit eclectic. Predominantly we've got Ferraris and Porsche. Those are the two main, I say, manufacturers that we love the most. But as you can see here, we've got Honda, Toyota, Land Rover and Lamborghini. Anything that we find interesting, anything that really floats our boat. Sometimes it's because they're limited special editions. Sometimes it's because it's from our childhood. Sometimes it's just because we fancy it. It's been quite a while since we did a full garage update on the state of the Car Guys collection. So I thought, seeing as we're on the cusp of quite a few new cars coming in, that means we may have to find a little bit of room in the garage to fit everything in. In many ways, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm doing with this collection. It just seems to have grown organically, which I guess is how the best sort of collections do grow. I'm pretty sure there's no great semblance of reasoning behind Jay Leno's garage, for example. But what we have here is a snapshot of exactly what the Car Guys collection is like right now. What we should do is maybe go through each car and talk a little bit about them and let you know exactly what I'm going to do with them. As you can see, a lot of the cars are out here on the forecourt because we've got Garage Style coming in to fit a new floor in the HQ. At last, it's been a long time coming. It's been painted. I'll show you that right now. So the walls have all been painted and it's ready for the new floor from Garage Style to come in and do it. I was massively impressed with the work that they did with a couple of people that have been on Supercar Driver events with me, and also of course Supercar Nigel. So we'll show you the finished garage at the end of this video. But for now, let's go through all of the cars that we have here, talk a bit about them, and in the comments, please tell me which ones you think should stay, which ones should go, give us your views, and also crucially, which ones we don't have yet that we should get. We always want to hear that because we are properly bonkers when it comes to impulse buys, as you may have seen already. Now, the first thing we need to say is that we have potentially 3 new Ferraris coming into the garage, and it looks like they're going to come in next year, 2020. So it's a bit annoying. I was hoping that the 812 Superfast would come in this year, but possibly because of the spec that I've chosen, that's now going to happen, I think, next spring, so spring 2020. We've also got the 488 Pista Spyder, a car that I am incredibly excited about getting. Hopefully you've seen the spec for that, but if not, go to that video now. Are you back? Good. That's not going to arrive until 2020 either, so hopefully maybe around about March, April time. So excited about that car. I've also got a deposit down for the F8 Tributo, and I'm at the moment in two minds about whether to continue with that. So I may dump the F8 Tributo in favour of the other two. And also maybe there could be another Ferrari coming into the stable, but we'll find out more about that later on in the year. So here we are at the Ferrari F12 TDF, the monster limited edition, one of 799 Ferrari V12. Possibly one of the most exciting Ferraris ever. At the moment, I've still got this, as you can see. Last year, I thought about selling it. I still would consider selling it at the moment because I just don't drive it as much as I should, and I have done quite a few miles on it already. As many of you know, the market generally for cars at the moment is at a low point, and the TDFs in particular have been hit pretty hard. So I'm not particularly excited about losing hundreds of thousands of pounds on this car. You remember I was not the first owner to have it, so therefore that first owner has already trousered nearly £500,000 in profit, and unfortunately I was the poor sucker that purchased it second. So at the moment this car is a keeper, but only because values of them have dropped quite a bit recently. This is my Lamborghini Gallardo 552 Valentino Balboni, right-hand drive, manual gearbox, black with a white and gold stripe on it. Absolutely gorgeous car. Values of these are a little bit tricky because so few ever come to the market, but it's safe to say it's well north of £200,000 for one of these. It's an absolutely beautiful car. Again, I don't drive it that much, but I'm not planning to get rid of it at the moment, so this one I think is going to stay. McLaren 675 LT, unquestionably one of the greatest McLarens ever built. It's probably this, the P1, and the F1. I've done about 5,000 miles in this car, a lot of track work as well, because that's what it's for. I absolutely love it. It offers a driving experience like no other. Values of these have plummeted in the last sort of year to 18 months. They were holding steady at about £300,000, but they have dropped now at least £100,000. All sorts of economic reasons for that, but it is still such a fantastic car that I'm confident in the future, in the long term, values will increase. So at the moment, this car is going nowhere. Honda Integra Type R. Now, I love this car. This is the one that Jason bought from 4-Star Classics. It's currently here at the Car Guys HQ. Jason is not driving it that much at the moment, but the good news about that is that I get to drive it a lot. So there's going to be an episode coming about my feelings on this epic car coming soon. It's a Japanese import. It's a fantastic example of what makes Integra Rs so special. So the Integra R probably will go, but that's only if Jason can prize the keys from me. Original Honda NSX. Now, this is a dream car of mine. I spent more than 15 years finding exactly the right spec, and now that I've got this pristine, low mileage, manual silver car with a black roof, it is going nowhere. This is an absolute keeper. It offers a driving experience like few other cars. It's an absolute joy to drive on any journey. Despite the battery niggles which it's given me, and despite a few other little issues, I absolutely love this car. It is going absolutely nowhere. I love it. It's a keeper. If I can keep it forever, then I definitely will. And of course, many of you are going to be familiar with this car. This is my 355 Spyder, the first supercar that I ever bought. It's an absolute keeper. Of course it's going nowhere. It's been fettled and had a lot of work done on it, so it's running perfectly at the moment. It needs a little bit of work done with the shock absorbers. They're looking a bit corroded, so that's the next job. But 355 in Rosso Corso with a black hood, definitely a keeper, going nowhere. Ah, my beloved 458 Italia. I've had this car from new in March 2015. I've done 15,500 miles in it. Every one of them absolutely sublime. It's in Bianco Fuji, which is white pearlescent paint with a dark grey roof. The interior spec is unbelievably beautiful. I think it's one of the best looking modern Ferraris. This would be a keeper, although at the moment, because I've got so many coming in, this is probably one of the potential cars that I would get rid of, mainly because obviously I've already got another car coming up in the collection, which I'll skip to now. What more can you say about the 458 Speciale Aperta other than it's one of the greatest Ferraris ever made? It's the last naturally aspirated V8 that Ferrari will ever make. It's yellow. It's got a stripe on it. I'm the first owner. I picked it up from the factory. This is a keeper, hopefully, for life. Once the 812 Superfast arrives, obviously this number plate is going to go on that, and then I'll need another one to go on here. So probably the one that's currently on the NSX gets swapped onto this car. And who fancies a bit of 90s Toyota action? Anyone? Oh, that's a shame. This is, of course, a Mark II MR2. This is the one I rescued. It was a barn find. I've got it going. It's now running beautifully. It's had full service. It's had lots of fettling done with it. Still got a little bit of rust on the door, which I need to fix. But this car is 100% going. I'm going to sell this car, could be to any one of you, but certainly this car is going. I'm actively looking at selling it right now because I've had my nostalgic fun with it, and I think now's the time to pass it on to its next rightful owner. And what about this then for one of the greatest Porsche 911s ever? This is the last year of production of the legendary 930. So this is an old school 911 turbo, 5-speed gearbox. They only made it in 1989 with a 5-speed gearbox. It's got all of the air-cooled loveliness that you would expect. It's also low mileage. It's done 30,000 miles. It's got a beautiful linen paintwork, and it's absolutely immaculate in every way. And thanks to Emblem Sports Cars, it now runs just like new. This car forms the core of the Porsche collection for the Car Guys, so this one is going nowhere. Then let's not forget also that we've got the Porsche 718 Spyder arriving in the middle of November, so that's actually not that far away. If you remember, that's the one that I spec'd pretty much in silver, but I'm going to put some decals on it and some reupholstered seats and make it look like a proper 50s RSK Porsche. So that one is actually very, very imminent, and we've got to make a bit of room for that right now. Then of course there's my beloved 911 GT3 Touring. So this is the 991.2 model. It's just coming up on 10,000 miles now, so I'm well on the way to the 100,000 mile target. This is another cornerstone of the Car Guys Garage Porsche collection next to the 930. So this one, this sweet, naturally aspirated thing, is definitely staying. Here we go, this is my BMW 750i. Now this is not getting a lot of love at the moment. It's stuck in the garage. I had an incident where a large goods vehicle brushed down the side of me on the motorway and took one of the wing mirrors off. So this car needs to have a little bit of TLC. I'm going to take this blue metallic wrap off of it, return it back to the Tomorrow Never Dies silver that it was in originally, but I've got to get the wing mirror fixed and just generally give it a bit of fettling, so it's looking a little bit sad for itself at the moment, but don't worry, the 750 will return. And what's this cheeky little number? It's the Challenge Stradale. I mean, there is no finer sounding Ferrari. It's quite unusual being in silver, so this is in Argento Nürburgring. If this sort of weather continues, then hopefully we're going to have an amazing video with this fairly soon with a fan of the Car Guys who's got in touch with us. It's a right-hand drive car. It's done 20,000 miles, factory stripe. As great as it is, this is possibly one of the cars that I'll move on. What do you think? One thing I should consider doing is getting a ride in a 430 Scuderia, because lots of people tell me that as great as this car is, and it is great, the 430 Scuderia is everything about this but better, with the exception of the noise. So I probably should decide whether to maybe replace this with a 430 Scuderia or keep them both. This is the 1995 Honda Prelude VTEC. So it's a manual car, very, very desirable, very rare. Just been fully serviced, been fettled to get it back up to speed. There was an issue with the ABS system, which has now been fully fixed. I do love it, but I think I've had my fun. So this is probably going to go fairly quickly. Haha, I bet you didn't expect that, did you? Yep, your eyes do not deceive you. This is an old Land Rover. What in the name of all that's holy is this car doing in the Car Guys collection? Well, come on, look at it. It's amazing. Old Landies are the coolest. They go anywhere. You can chuck anything into them. They offer a driving experience from the 1950s today. They're just amazing, amazing fun, honestly. It feels like you're on a safari every day. You see, it's the short wheelbase version, convertible, so you can take off all of that roof, you can remove. That windscreen folds right forward flat onto the bonnet, and so the entire thing can be completely chop-topped and convertible, which for the summer is just amazing. It's a perfect utility vehicle, but it's got so much character. Now, a lot of you have been asking for us to do an episode on this vehicle. We love all sorts of cars, so there will be an episode coming on this little beauty, a Series 2A Land Rover, pretty soon. It's going to be in the new year, but you will love it. And finally in the garage we have my 2010 Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe. This is the ultimate luxury vehicle. It's the Rolls-Royce man's Rolls-Royce. It's the one that everyone secretly wants. It's not a definite keeper, but it's certainly, I think, going to be around for a long time. So the Garage Style guys have finished the garage floor of the Car Guys HQ. So do you want to have a look? Here we go then. That is a lot of floor space. So all we've got to do now is put the cars in and then we're done. So thank you very much to Garage Style for coming and fitting this for me. It's a fantastic job. Heartily recommend them. Just a brilliant, brilliant job. Really nice guys. At last, the Car Guys garage has got a floor. So there you go. Hopefully you found this a useful look at the Car Guys garage and what we're keeping and what we're moving on. We've got 3 or 4 new cars coming in the next 6 months, so that should be pretty exciting, and obviously we're going to take you along for the ride for the collections and first drives of those cars. All of them should be unbelievable. Thanks for watching this episode on the garage update of the Car Guys. Hope you found it useful. If there's any cars you think we should get, by all means let us know. Likewise, if you feel horrified about any that we are getting rid of or feeling happy about the ones we're keeping, do let us know. Please subscribe, leave likes and comments on this episode. We really do appreciate it. We do read every single one. And of course, don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. There'll be another Car Guys episode next week.